I am only willing to talk about this movie if we all agree to keep it real and admit that we've been obsessed with someone at one point in time. Y'all gonna keep it real? All right, let's go. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about one of the most anticipated films of 2026, Obsession. I feel like I saw the trailer for this movie so many times. I heard so many people hyping it up. And let me tell you all, it was good. It was really good. This movie is horrifying in a way that makes you so uncomfortable, so uneasy. And I think it's because not only was it well written, it was well casted, the acting was on point, and everything just gelled together really well. So let's talk about the movie itself before we talk about the different conversations and topics that this movie will inspire. The trailer for the movie actually tells you the whole plot. Boy likes girl. Girl is not really into guy like that. Boy makes a wish, or in this case, casts a spell because let's call it what it is. It was a spell, and everything goes crazy. And that's really the movie in a nutshell. But as you watch the movie, it does make you question who is the real victim here. The movie opens up with introducing us to Bear. Bear is this shy, introverted, sort of fade into the background type of guy. And he hangs out with a group of friends, and within this group of friends is Nikki, the person that he has fell in love with from afar. And the movie opens up with actually him being coached by someone else within the group, a friend named Ian. And Ian is trying to coach him on how to essentially confess his love to Nikki. Next, we're introduced to Nikki. And Nikki is cute girl, girl next door, has a big heart. She's funny, she's smart, she's sweet. And we can see why he's fallen in love with her. And I love that they casted Nikki the way that they did. She looks like someone I can run into at the grocery store, and that's what makes the movie feel so real. Everybody comes off as like just everyday people. So one night on their way home, Nikki gives him a chance to confess his love to her. She asks him straight up, "Do you like me?" And he chickens out. So since he doesn't say it, she's like, "Okay." Realizing that he missed his opportunity, he uses something called a one wish willow, which looks like a branch. He makes a wish, he breaks the branch, and it comes true. Now, in the beginning, he was kind of side eyeing her, like, hold on, do you really like me? But he convinces himself that she does like him because why wouldn't she, right? Can't make a wish and it just comes true. So of course she likes him. So he goes with it. Now let's pause here for a second because there were definitely some red flags that should have tipped him off that something was not right here. Before they decided to get into a relationship, she dug up his deceased cat. Now, Bear, you knew when that girl did that she wasn't right in the head. Had it been me, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Like, no, that was a clear sign that this girl was not stable enough to be in a relationship, at least one that you wanted, right? But no, he decides to proceed with the relationship. And we get this montage of them being in love. Everything is blissful, everything is perfect until it's not. Bear gets a phone call from Ian with information that Nikki has lied to him about her father being sick. And he confronts her about it. And when he confronts her about it, of course, she gets upset. But I think that this confrontation is what really set everything off because it places insecurity in her. And from this moment forward, it becomes about her proving her love to him and her needing his validation. She watches him while he sleeps. She has to be with him at all times, and she refuses to let anyone come between them. But her behavior is over the top. She's taping the front door shut, standing in the middle of the living room like a statue until he returns from work. And the poor cat, she made him a sandwich with the cat. I want to take another pause right here because I saw a few posts on social media, and before I watch a movie, I try my best not to look on social media because I don't want the spoilers, and I also want to be able to form my own opinion. But after I saw the movie last night, I did get on social media and I saw a few posts that were confused by some of Nikki's actions. Why would she lie about her father being sick? Why would she hurt herself? Because there were some scenes where she did some self harm. I think we have to remember this isn't Nikki. This is some dark force that has taken over her body that will do anything for his love and affection. Bear's love and affection feeds this dark force. Because if you notice, the moment that he gives her what she's asking for, saying, I love you, or shows her affection, she backs up. She appears more calm. And even in those moments is when the real Nikki is able to come out for a split second, but then that dark force takes right back over. Going into the movie, we already knew the plot. My interest was, how was he going to get out of this? It gets to a point where he realizes he can no longer do this on his own. So he calls a number on the back of the One Wish Willow, and someone answers the phone. And if you saw this film, I want to know, who did you think that was that answered the phone? I've seen a few guesses. I'm kind of on the fence about it. But who did you think that was? The person who answers the phone tells him, hey, you made the wish. You got to deal with it. The only way for you to break it is if you die. At the time of the phone call, I don't think Bear was ready to hear that or ready to do anything about it. So he just tried to deal with it. Didn't work. Towards the end of the film, he goes back to the store where he purchased the One Wish Willow to buy additional ones. And that is in an effort to have someone else make a wish, hoping that it cancels out his. That goes completely wrong. He tries to have his friend Ian do it. Ian messes it up because he doesn't believe him. He wishes for $1 billion, which he gets. And so at this point, Bear gives up. He goes home to Nikki. At this point, Nikki is completely off the rails. He goes into the bathroom and he overdoses on medication. So he takes his medication, and before it can fully take effect, Nikki finds the last One Wish Willow, makes a wish, breaks it, and it's obvious that the wish was for him to love her as much as she loves him. And it works. We have a moment where they have mutual admiration of each other, but just a moment because he just took this medication. So he starts to foam at the mouth after that quick moment, and he passes away. And Nikki is obviously crushed, going crazy. But because he passed away, now the spell has broken from her. And the real Nikki comes to. And when the real Nikki comes to, she is horrified by what she sees, which is basically she's surrounded by the bodies of her friends. So that's how the movie ends. Now let's talk about the cinematography. I really liked how when Nikki was in her darkest moments, they would cast a shadow on her face, or her hair would be in her face where you couldn't see her full face. To me, that just showed how much that dark force was taking over her body, because in some of these scenes, all you would see was her silhouette. So creepy. Now, there was one scene that completely creeps me out. There was a scene where she was begging for his love, begging for his attention, and he gave it to her. He said, yes, I do love you. And she backs up, but she starts walking backwards as if someone pressed the rewind button. So creepy. So creepy. I love that the movie didn't have a happy ending. Remember I said I was going in to see how was he getting out of this. Technically he did get out of it. Now, I didn't think it would be like that, but he did get out of it. But I think the movie not having a happy ending tells the story of when you force people to do things that they either don't want to, they aren't meant to, or against their free will, there's a price you got to pay for that. And for him, he had to pay with his life. Now, let's talk about some of the themes and the different topics that I think this movie is going to bring up. Now, first, the most obvious one, be careful what you wish for, or at least be specific about it. Now, I don't think that Bear would have known to be specific about this wish because he didn't believe it was going to happen. But I think it also calls out you got to be careful what you say. Playing with people's free will has its consequences. The spiritual communities, my spiritual girlies, are going to tear this movie up in a good way. I think it's going to inspire a lot of conversations about tampering with people's free will because it's well known in most spiritual communities that when you tamper with someone's free will, there are repercussions in that. And so I can't wait to see the conversations that this movie will inspire around that topic. I want to go back to my original question. Who is the real victim here? One indication of a good movie is a movie that makes you forget who the villain and the victim is. This movie is set up in such a way where you feel bad for Bear majority of the movie because he's being tortured. He's scared to go home. He can't sleep. He can't do anything to a point where he can't eat because she making sandwiches with the cat. You feel bad for him that he's stuck. But we have to remember he brought this on himself. Bear is the villain. The true victim is Nikki. Her free will is taken away and her life will be altered forever. She's the last surviving member of her friend group. She's killed at least two of those friends. Because there was some type of consciousness going on where all of this was happening, who knows what type of mental ramifications that has. And all of this because you wanted her to like you. Selfish. Now, people are saying this is the movie of the year. I don't want to go that far because we aren't technically 6 months into the year yet. But what I am comfortable saying is that this is one of the top movies of the year. I actually want to see it again. And I want to see it again because during some of the scary parts, I was so scared that I know I missed a few lines of dialogue. So I want to go back to see what I missed. My overall grade of this movie is an A minus. I was set on giving it a B plus. However, because I want to see it twice, it deserves to be in the A category. If you saw this movie, let me know what you think. Drop down in the comments, give me your opinion. Did you like it? What were some of your favorite scenes? Would you go see it again? I'll see y'all in the next one.